Okay.
Are you not in the room?
I am waiting to be let in.
Representative O'Brien,
Why did appropriations get it? Is there?
there's something in the underlying bill that triggered a visit to appropriations, and I can't recall what it was.
I think, I mean, they were interested in the fees for the hemp section, but it was the CAFO piece and the contingency language and things of that sort. I think it kind of triggered that.
What's that cable piece?
So the CAFO study group. And
Oh, okay.
And-
Our, not the underlying bill, but the section that we added that.
yeah, that's right.
Okay, all right. So that's.
And also, well, but also the underlying bill with the they were interested in the pest control piece as impacting the funds, and then they were also interested in the fees with hemp. And but I think the primary appropriation piece was the CAFO piece that you folks had.
Okay. Okay. All right. So in any case, Ways and Means already did look at it. They proposed something that Bradley will show us now.
Right, Bradley Showman, Office of Legislative Counsel. So Ways and Means did 3 small instances of amendment. The first instance of amendment is you'll recall that the changes to the hemp section that this committee passed included making some criminal and civil penalties to selling unregistered products. And long story short, that piece lives in a different part of the cannabis chapter. And because that piece calls for fees and civil penalties, some of which would be deposited to the state, some of which would go to the Cannabis Control Board, we had to just make an amendment to Section 19 of the bill. And Section 19 is the Cannabis Special Fund that allows the Cannabis Control Board to actually take on these fees. And so this would authorize the Cannabis Control Board to make sure that they have the authorization to take whatever fees that they can get from hemp or from the piece of the bill that criminalized and made civil penalties for selling unregistered products, hemp and cannabis products. They can deposit that into their special fund if they are directed those fees. The second piece is adding a section. This is adding a study. So on or before January 15th, the Cannabis Control Board of 2027, the Cannabis Control Board shall submit to the Agriculture Committees and the Ways and Means and Finance Committees. And so this is a study about hemp fees. And so Ways and Means wanted to add this in because we'll know more information about what the federal hemp landscape is come November. And so Ways and Means wanted a report from the Cannabis Control Board that would kind of essentially say, what's your game plan for fees? Are you amending fees? Are you waiving them? Have you defined craft processor, or do you plan to? So essentially, a summary of all hemp fees in effect for fiscal year 2027, including any waivers, reductions, or alterations to the hemp fee schedule. Any revenue derived from each fee in fiscal year 2026, which is just about a month. So that might not be very much, if anything. But the bill is effective on passage, so they included that piece in there. And then they also wanted just kind of a comparison of fees in other jurisdictions and an analysis of policies or trends that might affect the viability of the fee amount, and a recommendation regarding how the hemp fee schedule is set forth in Section 858 may be adjusted to better promote the intent of the General Assembly to better support small business hemp producers and processors. So essentially, they just wanted the Cannabis Control Board to come back with a study on the fees, especially in light of us knowing a little bit more about what's going to happen with the federal regulation landscape and whether the Cannabis Control Board is going to need to take actions to engage in that rulemaking authority to potentially waive some fees for craft processors and things of that sort.
Representative O'Brien.
So Bradley, did CCB testify, do you know, that they have capacity to do this, or they don't need extra money?
Yep. This actually came largely from them.
They were
I mean, the Ways and Means instigated it, and then they proposed this language.
So they're supporting it.
Yes,
All right. Was there any opposition to it?
not that I was aware of. No.
Can you go back to the first instance amendment? This is can you explain again what this is doing here? Catherine?
Yes, so section 19, and it'll probably be easier if I just pull it up. 17, 18, 19. Okay. So this is section 19 of the report of the Committee on Agriculture. So recall that this committee did a strike all, and and so this section 19 is the Cannabis Control Board special fund. And so this committee amended the special fund to allow the the Cannabis Control Board to deposit fees that they get from hemp oversight. Actually, this was language that came over from the Senate. And so, no, it was this committee. Never mind. It was this committee that did this. And so basically this is this allows the Cannabis Control Board to deposit any fees that they get from hemp into their special fund. So you'll see that it just says Chapter 31, Subchapter 3, hemp. Because it was designed to just capture those hemp fees. And then subsequent to this conversation, the committee also added the sales restrictions in section 20, and these sales restrictions call for fees or civil penalties and things of that sort. And so whenever the Cannabis Control Board collects a civil penalty, those civil penalties can be deposited into their special fund. And so when Ted and I were conferring on this, as it was before Ways and Means, we took another look at that and said, okay, well, actually, where we put this is not in the subchapter on hemp. It's just in the chapter on cannabis. And so where this lands in the statute required an amendment to that language of the special fund, just to allow the Cannabis Control Board to have to capture those fees. And so what we did was we just kind of brought in the language a little bit. So instead of just referring to subchapter for hemp, so the hemp subchapter will be put in the Cannabis Control Board chapter about cannabis. Instead of just referring to subchapter on hemp, they just refer to that entire chapter.
Representative O'Brien.
Does anybody know what the special fund's used for? I mean, they have their operating budget comes from something else, I suppose, general fund or something, but then they specifically have this.
I think, was that supposed to be earmarked for education?
I don't know.
So trying to discourage children.
Right, that was part of the original.
Yeah.
Cannabis
Yeah,
grant.
I'm not certain.
Yeah, I'm not certain either.
Drug abuse problems.
Yeah.
We could ask them.
Yeah, we could get JFO. We needed to answer that question.
Matt Byron, Chair Byron could answer.
Yeah. Go ahead.
So Ways and Means report on this, when I get to the hemp section, which I was reporting on, I'm just gonna report on section 15, 16 down to state statute 854, and that's where GovOps took over and made a lot of changes.
Okay.
So I was gonna punt that from there to Rep Byron.
Okay.
And let him, and if he's not there, I told Rep Hango, she got to report on it. Gives her right into sweats.
If I may, so I can actually answer Representative O'Brien's question. So the statute itself for the special fund, so these are fees that are deposited for the purpose of, so any monies from the fund shall only be appropriated for the purpose of implementation, administration, and enforcement of the chapters. And so, so it's for programmatic and administrative purposes. I'm not familiar with any other requirements of like the cannabis money and what that is used to support more broadly, but anything that's deposited into that special fund is used for administration of the program.
Right, so we don't have to, it'll be Ways and Means that walks through and explains this. So we should understand because we need to struggle it, yeah. But we don't have to answer technical questions if there are any.
There's a,
Anything else?
yeah, there's a third instance of amendment here. So the waiving or reducing of license fees for craft processors, that section, that Ways and Means add a sunset clause. And so the Cannabis Control Board testified that they only want the authority to do that if the federal law changes to make processing hemp much more restrictive, right? And so if the federal law does not change in the way that it's currently set to, the Cannabis Control Board said it was their plan to not have to waive or reduce licensing fees. And so based on that testimony, House Ways and Means decided, okay, well, let's sunset this. So, and so if they don't use the authority, then they will, if they don't use the authority, then they have to, and then that will just go away.
Right, any questions for Bradley? Any concerns about this amendment? Pretty, as amendments go. Seems pretty reasonable. So I think, why don't we just get a show of hands for a straw poll? Is everyone support this language? Okay, good. Noting that Brigham's not here. Yeah.
Did JFO do
A fiscal note?
Yeah.
They did.
they did on this? As far as how much this might bring in?
So there is a fiscal note. And the next step then will be, appropriations, if they stand scheduled, they're gonna hear this 2:30 or 2:45, so we should just be available to take a quick break, maybe from the floor, or maybe the floor will be out of session because we're in chunks again today. And we'll come back and we'll hear so the amendment that they're looking at, just to give everybody a heads up, I think there's actually two. Bradley, are you
I'm familiar. I don't know what's public or not, so you might.
say that? Okay.
Yeah, okay.
So when we passed S60, the farm fund.
Climate fund?
The farm and forestry.
Special.
Special fund, yeah. There was some language in it that the governor's office, I think we talked about this at the time, the governor's office flagged as being problematic legally. And so it was a little bit of an inconsistency. And they asked us, the governor said he would sign it, but he asked us to change a sentence somewhere in a future bill. So amending the language. And we have done that in our miscellaneous bill that's in the Senate currently, but just getting a little worried about timing and want to make sure that we get this one sentence fixed. I suggested maybe we can put that in this bill as well, just sort of to have a second level of certainty. Then, in addition to that, there is, you may all remember in the governor's budget, there was a request for elimination of the fees to the medium and large farm operations
CAFO.
pay. Yeah. And that was in the governor's budget. It was in the House version and it was in the Senate version. So I think everybody was okay with that. But I guess it's just been somebody just pointed out that there was no language associated with it. So I believe that somebody brought that to House Appropriations and they're gonna add that language. So that will be the other amendment that we get here. So it's nothing to do with the bill, nothing to do with S323, but just something that had to. But Michelle, we'll see you later.
All right, so they're putting the language in to remove those fees from LFO and MFO, because I heard Senate keeps yanking them out.
I think that, well, I hadn't heard that. I think it was in the version of the Senate budget that passed, but it's just that this language wasn't there. Now, maybe I've got the story mixed up. And Bradley, if you can't say any more, that's fine, but,
Yeah, I'm just not sure. I know that those are the grounds for amendment that I'll be presenting. I don't have the background.
well, we don't want you to add to the confusion.
Yeah, that's
We'll
good.
have more clarity later this afternoon, and maybe we can figure out between now and then just offline too.
So some items in the budget, the probes can just put there and other things like this, they can't just subtract it without language.
Yeah, usually there's language added also, because the budget that we passed has language in it, and I don't know, I mean, they're still working on the budget, so I don't know. It's a bit of a mystery to everybody, I guess, so. And it will be, I hope, resolved in appropriations, and then we'll have to take another look at it. But,
We'll have a scrum on the floor.
yeah, yeah. Just a quick update on all the other bills. Starting with 932, that's the wood products manufacturers, which is on third reading, I think, today in the Senate floor.
That's not what I'm following. I think it's Ellen's.
Yes, it is Ellen's, yeah. So that will come back to us, and when that does, we'll have to get together with Ellen so she can walk us through the amendment, because they did amend it. It's
that
totally acceptable.
released today or?
That could happen also today, yeah. More likely tomorrow, but could happen today.
That goes way back to like the log yards correction
Yeah, yeah.
and
Yes, yeah,
and stone.
yeah,
Stony Broad
Sorry about-
System,
yeah, that's right,
which doesn't appear.
Like it's a college in Long Island.
yeah. So that's coming within the next 24 hours, I think. And then 941, Senate Ag just met on that. Bradley, I don't know if you can share anything about what they did, if they did anything.
I think that is developing. They're taking issue with the study and they want the study out. And so it's going to be a matter of whether that's a conference committee or a floor amendment. And so I think that we'll know more in an hour. And I was actually going to see if the committee needs me, if I can go.
Yes.
But do need to be on the floor.
You can, yeah.
Yes. Okay, thank you.
It's full regulation of agriculture, yeah.
Thank you, Brad. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, lots of things flying today.
942 is the other bill. That's our miscellaneous ag bill that Greg reported. That was blocked up in Senate Finance for a long time. I think it's going to be on tail list. Okay. Thank you. I thought they had said that out, but it's not.
What did we have in 942? Can't remember anymore.
But,
You remember, Greg?
Do I remember it?
One thing I remember was the signage at the store, shelf tags.
That's right.
There's that and it's just some housekeeping stuff with isn't there housekeeping? I'm getting the two
I know.
miscellaneous bills
Yeah.
confused together.
Or
But
three, right?
I promise I'll make sure I'm up to date on everything when it comes back to the Senate.
Yeah,
All right,
we're all done here. I think Patricia, we can go offline. So we'll be back,
you want to make a bat